Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody who joins us on Ukraine Media Center Inform. It's day 303 of heroic resistance of the Ukrainian people, and now we will be talking about the situation in Sviatohirsk Territorial community. Joining us online is Volodymyr Rybalkin, the head of Sviatohirsk Territorial Community. Good afternoon, Mr. Volodymyr. Good afternoon. I will correct you a little bit. I'm a military governor of Kherson, of Sviatohirsk Territorial Community. Mr. Volodymyr, we understand that it's been a bit of time since the liberation of the territory. So what was done and what are the plans for reconstruction? For the time being, I will remind you that Sviatohirsk Territorial Community was liberated on the 12th of September. Now the social services are back, the mobile communication is back online, the bakeries are operating, the trade in construction materials and food products is back in the region. We rearranged the work of international humanitarian organizations. We have light, we have water, so we're getting back to normal life. A lot of things were done, actually. Mr. Volodymyr, as to the critical infrastructure, we know that there was a lot of destruction. The bridges were destroyed, the key infrastructure installations were destroyed. What was already rebuilt and what is planned to be rebuilt. Well, as to the bridges, we're already rebuilding the pedestrian bridge through Khotyanyivka-Sviatohirsk. We prepared the documents for the reconstruction. We keep working on improvement of logistic communication. We have understanding of how to rebuild the infrastructure. As to the water, yes, the issue is complicated. In fact, all the pump station capacities were destroyed along with the aerial electric power lines. There are some issues with water supply and water distribution. Talking about the territorial community, it accounts for 12 villages and they're 100% supplied with electric power. How do you solve the issue with the water supply? There is a business in Sviatohirsk who helps us with water, with potable water and with technical water as well. We cooperate with them. Also international humanitarian organizations, they take care of supplying water. The local residents, what are the main challenges they're facing? What are the main challenges you face in understanding the needs of the population? Well, our task is to pass the winter period in the most comfortable manner. There is a lot of destruction in the city of Sviatohirsk. Some districts are destroyed to the ground. We prepared 2 installations for temporary dwelling of the peoples, for those who lost their homes. There was an apartment block damaged, which included 47 apartments, and the people who resided there were relocated to the temporary dwelling. So our key task for the time being is to pass the winter period in the most comfortable manner. The people are receiving the food ratios. They get pellets and wood. So we assist people in passing the winter period comfortably. How do you evaluate the damage inflicted by the Russian shellings? Was the scale of such destruction? Well, let's take things apart. There are private residential areas. Some people left from Sviatohirsk and Sviatohirsk Territorial Community, so they access to the private residential areas is locked. So sometimes we can just see that the buildings are destroyed or there is some damage in the yard, but in order to get in the yard, we need to communicate with the owners. We cannot get there without their permission, but so we cannot evaluate the destruction in full, but the architects work with us currently who, upon our request, evaluate all the destructions. They document all the destroyed buildings. And let's not forget that the front line is not so far from Sviatohirsk. Periodically we're hearing explosions, and it's a little bit early to talk officially about the scale of destruction in Sviatohirsk. We will talk about this after victory. I can't help asking about the cultural heritage of our country, about Sviatohirsk Lavra. What's its condition and what's going on there? Around 150 priests are currently staying in Sviatohirsk Lavra, and the same number of civil population who entered Lavra and were hiding there from shellings, and some people who came back after the occupation. There are civil residents there and the priests as well, clerics as well. Lavra was damaged to some extent. How substantial is the damage of Lavra, and is it going to be difficult to restore it? Well, the Lavra is being reconstructed currently. There are shipments of coal and wood to Lavra. I can see the cars coming to Lavra with different loads, and I see it by the documents and the cars entering there. We have questions in the studio. Irina Mamchur, Ukrinform. Could you please tell us what's the total number of people residing in Sviatohirsk community for the time being, and what's percentage comparing to the pre-war time, and how many people who reside in Sviatohirsk community are currently deprived of their dwellings? So before 24th of February, Sviatohirsk Gramada was accounting for 9,038 people. I'm talking about the community. Now it's about 640 residents in the town of Sviatohirsk. So we see that before the occupation it was 550 people, and 120 more maybe got back. And as to the community in the villages, there are 220 people. People are coming back to the villages in mass. What was another question? Could you remind us? How many people are deprived of their dwellings in percentage or in absolute numbers? Well, talking about Sviatohirsk, 69 people submitted applications for temporary dwelling, temporary residence in the temporary residence installation. So there are 40 people living there on permanent basis. It has water supply, it has power supply on a permanent basis. Another question, did you identify a lot of collaborationists after the occupation in Sviatohirsk community, and among them were there any representatives of administration or priests? So our main collaborationist is the mayor Bandura, who did not betray not only Sviatohirsk, but he betrayed Ukraine. Unfortunately, he's not captured yet, but I hope that the law will follow him. The collaborationists who were taking part in administration of Sviatohirsk community during occupation, they all fled. Now they are somewhere in Svatova or near Donetsk, and some There are people who were providing unfaithful information for Russian TV channels while distributing the humanitarian aid, but is the competence of the police and the security service of Ukraine. It's been 1.5 months after the occupation. They take all the measures to persecute the collaborationists. Mr. Volodymyr, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for the information, dear colleagues. I'm reminding you, joining us was Volodymyr Rybalkin, the military governor of Sviatohirsk community. Our team is working for the schedule of briefings for Monday, so bear with us, trust in our armed forces, and glory to Ukraine.